Welcome to another video. Thanks for tuning into this one. And in this video, we want to talk about some of the things you need to consider, especially if you're an immigrant and you're trying to achieve that financial freedom, financial independence, just make extra money, whatever that may be. Well, you've found the right channel because I'm an immigrant and I'm on my own journey and I'm sharing the lessons I've learned along the way with you. So if you're interested in that, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to drop a like on this video. It will go a long way. Now, one of the first things that I always encourage anyone to do, which I have done for myself, and I'm always checking to make sure that I'm working towards this, is my goals, right? Your goals are really what drives you every day. What are your goals for the day, right? And most of us have plans for things that we want to do in a particular day, and that's why we wake up, that's why we get out of bed, that's why we do difficult things. I'm here on this channel making this video because I have a specific goal. And I do other things as well with a specific goal in mind. Otherwise, without a goal, we would be aimlessly doing things. And that's not what we want. When it comes to our finances as well, we have to do the same thing. And that is why goals are important. Now, when you're setting your goals, think about SMART acronym, all right? It's down here, which is something specific, something measurable, something achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Now, when you're thinking of saving a certain amount of money by a specific date, it is something specific. Maybe you want to buy something with that money. It's measurable because there's an amount to it. It's achievable within the time frame you set for yourself. Hopefully that amount is achievable. It's relevant to your life, to your mission, to your goals, right? It's relevant to your life. It has to be. If it's not, then it's going to be one of those things that you say but you don't really put actions to or put your effort into. It has to be something that is time bound within a specific time frame. Now, understand that when you're putting this together, your SMART goal for your finances, you need to understand some of the constraints that come up as well. You have to account for those, because if you don't, you find yourself failing to achieve your goals. And it's okay to fail as long as you've learned from it. Okay, and that's why it's always good to document your journey as well. I'm documenting mine and I'm sharing them with you in some of my videos. You can always check them out. And the reason is because that is how we get better. And as you see results, you get more motivated to do more things. Another example of a goal is to pay off a certain amount of debt by a certain time. If you have credit card debt, a mortgage debt, a car loan. Now, by the way, mortgage is a different conversation because those are usually kind of good debt, like they say, good debt, bad debt. I'm sure you guys are probably familiar with those. Your goal is to not carry too many bad debts. Credit card debt, payday loans, just high interest loans are usually not good. But with mortgage debt is something that could be good, right, if it's used well. Another one is student loans debt, right? Usually the interest rates are usually low. And hopefully the time and effort you've spent in school is hopefully rewarding you in the career of choice. And sometimes if you need to go back to school because you know that by taking an opportunity or by learning that course or by going through that program, you're able to earn more money, then that may be a type of considered a good debt. And that's not something you want to shy away from. All right. Buying a car, buying a house, those are generally goals. And you want to, again, make it smart. Save up, again, when I say smart, I'm talking about specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Save up a certain amount of money for emergencies, right? That's another thing that could be a goal for you. Your retirement could be a goal. Your kids' college education fund could be a goal. Those are usually things that you're considering when you are setting your goals. Now, one of the ways to be able to do any of these things comes down to income, right? And we make income through either a job or a business. That's usually the broad specification, unless we inherit the money, right? But majority of the time, we are working a job, we are starting a business, and through that, we're able to make money. It's as simple as that. There isn't much to say about that. But one thing to consider is, especially if you're on your path and you are new in this country, understand that they reward skills a lot more than just education, right? So you might have a lot of qualifications, you might have a PhD, but you might still not be able to make a lot of money. And that's because they reward skills more than just having the education. And finding something that you're good at or you can be good at is very important. Once you start making your money, all right, remember, pay yourself first. This always comes down to various ways where you can do that, right? We can talk about retirement accounts. Think about your 401k. And they always say you want to make sure that you're investing something in your 401k, because that's how you can get that contribution from your company. That's how you can save yourself on taxes. That's how you can plan for your future. And that's why it is important to have a retirement account. Another example of a retirement account, which, if you've contributed to your retirement account, would be to maybe have Roth accounts, right? Roth IRA, Roth 401k, and different types like that. And your goal is to make sure that with the Roth, you're putting after-tax contributions into a retirement account. The benefit of this, it has different benefits. But a big one is this account, once you have it, it won't be taxed in the future. That means whatever you contribute into it won't be taxed in the future. But you still have to wait until, I believe, 59 and a half or 60 to start taking anything out of it. But the point is, it will be tax-free, unlike a traditional IRA or a traditional 401k. You will end up being taxed at the time of disbursement, I believe, or when you withdraw from it. Now, once you have any of this or both, depending on your situation, consider high yield savings accounts, especially for your emergency fund, right? One of the things that you want to remember is your emergency fund should be in a high yield savings account, in something that is at least that keeps up with inflation. If you have $1,000, $2,000, and it's in an account like a checking account, you're barely making anything. The average return or APY on any of these checking accounts is like 0.01%. And that's not what you want. You want to make sure your money is really working for you. Every dollar should be working as much as possible. You want them to work hard. Okay, you want them to work hard so that you don't have to work hard. It's important. And of course, you want to have checking accounts to make your regular payments. Now, something that I didn't add here, all right, that I haven't mentioned in all of this that I've put together, is importance of your credit. Your ability to get a loan, to get good interest rates, to just have options in this country requires credit. And that's where you need to manage your credit very, very well. And maybe that will be the last thing I will touch on, all right? The next thing is, once you have all this set up, you're making some money, you're paying yourself first, you have your account set up, your checking account, your emergency fund, all that stuff, right? You want to live on less than you make. I mean, it sounds simple, but trust me, not a lot of people do that. And I've been there, especially when you're making $2,000 per month and you're spending $2,100 or $2,200 or $2,500, and then you're having to rely on, say, a credit card to make up for the difference. That would not work long term. It would also ruin you long term, because you end up relying so much on a credit card, and those credit cards often have high interest rates. That high interest rate is what will sink your finances over time, because you end up accruing more debt, which is not what we want. And that's why it's important to budget, right? You want to budget regularly, okay? And adjust your budget. Now, there are different ways to budget. You can have zero-based budgeting, where everything you're making, all right, everything you're making is accounted for. Every dollar you're making is accounted for. That may be a little too much for you. That may be just what works well for you. Depending on your situation, there are other types. Budgets using envelopes. For example, some people will have certain amounts of money stashed to the side. For example, if you don't want to go on vacation, they withdraw the money, they put it to the side. Money they want to spend for the week on food, they withdraw it, they put it to the side. Money they want to spend on entertainment, they withdraw it, put it to the side. And the point here is, whenever they run out of that money in that envelope that is apportioned to that, desire or that goal or that plan, that's it. They don't go in to take more money. They don't rely on credit cards. And that's something that you need to see what works for you, what you want to do, or what will help you stay accountable to yourself, right? Because it's very easy to swipe cards nowadays, right? Everything is Apple Pay, there's Amazon One Click. All these things are there to honestly take our money and make it as efficiently as possible, so that you don't have to go through hoops to make a payment. But when you rely on cash, it makes it harder for you and you are more disciplined by that. Another one is the 50-30-20 rule, where 50% goes to your housing budget, 30% goes to like your feeding, transportation, and things of that nature that you need, and 20% goes into your savings and maybe paying down debt. Depending on how you want to customize this, you can make it 60, 60 40, 60 20 20. You can make it 70, 20 10. You can design this as you wish, but the point here is have a plan, have something that works for you. Now, once you have these things going on, it's always important to have multiple sources of income. All right. The reason why multiple sources of income is important is because that is one way to put your time and effort into something that hopefully can pay you. For example, this YouTube channel is some form of a source of income, even though it's not a lot right now for this channel anyway, and the other channels I have. But the point here is, it's making me something. Now, is it really profitable if I consider the amount of time that I'm putting into it? Honestly, no. But do I enjoy it? Do I enjoy the process? Yes. Do I enjoy the fact that I get to meet different people? Yes. Do I enjoy the fact that I learn to use different programs? I learn other means of making money just by doing my own research. And that's something that I enjoy. So, find what works for you. It doesn't have to be YouTube. It could be side hustles. Like, some people do Lyft on the side. Some people do DoorDash on the side. Some people have a second job on the side. Some people do professional stuff on the side. It doesn't have to be any of these things that I do. Just find your interest. But one thing that I always encourage you to do is think long term. All right. Think long term. A lot of us, when we are thinking about these things, we want to think about now. But long term, generally speaking, when you do something for a while, your ability to scale that thing increases because of the experience you build on the job. And that is where thinking long term has an advantage. If you think short term and you take a job or side also that you are unable to scale or you feel frustrated about, then you wouldn't want to spend much time doing it. And that would really tell over time. Yeah, you might be making money, but you might only do it for 5 years, right? But when you think long term, something you can keep doing 10 years, 20 years, 30 years maybe, guess what? You start to have a different approach to things. But again, we're talking about money, so let's focus on that. Freelancing, all right, is another thing that a lot of people do. If you know how to draw, if you know how to edit videos, if you know how to take pictures, whatever that may look like for you, you can always offer your services on different websites, right? That freelancing website, there's so many of them. I can't even start listing them. But the point here is, do you like teaching? Do you like music? Do you like drawing? Do you like editing? Do you like writing? There's so many things you can do. Do you want to write a book? Right? And I'm talking about social media. All of this can honestly work together depending on how creative you are. Social media is a good one as well, where you can have a YouTube channel and get monetized. TikTok and sell on TikTok and make a lot of money. Like people are making a lot of money on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all these things are there. Now, one of the things that I always see that everyone is always very conscious or very intimidated by just knowing that they are going to go on the internet. The truth about it is, you don't have to put yourself out there. You can think about creative ways like using AI and doing all this generated content where you're not having to put yourself out there. That's something that you can do. You don't have to always be on video, right? And that's something that I always say to people. Think about ways that you can achieve your goal. And of course, another one is passive income. Now, there are different types of passive incomes you can think about, especially things like rental income, getting dividends through your investments like stocks and bonds, REITs. There are so many types of investments like that you can invest in and you get some passive income. Now, the reason why the passive income approach is often what you want to get into when you've created enough money. All right. If you're going to invest in stocks, you need money. If you're going to invest in real estate, you need money. If you're going to invest in anything that will give you passive money on the side, you have to invest something. Now, there's some type of passive income that you can create or at least get into that doesn't really require your money, but honestly, it may require your time. And one of it is, again, YouTube, but you still need to have a camera, you need to have the light, you have to need to the mic or whatever that may look like for you. Again, these are just all ideas that I'm putting out there. So think about what works for you. Now, as you go through this journey, right, as you are creating your multiple sources of income, it's important to consider more skills or education in the process, right? More skills or education. Maybe going back to school, taking short courses. Those are things you can do. It doesn't have to be limited to an education. Again, it can be just skills as well. But like I said, think about short courses, online platforms that you can learn, Udemy, Teachable. These are all places where you can learn different things. And those things that you learn would help you to maybe do more of the things you do here, which means you can charge more money, you can command higher pay for what you do. But it's always important to focus on something specific. Focus on an area that you know that you can, maybe you have the knowledge about, or you have a good understanding about. So that way you're able to leverage on what you already know. That, you know, you're not just starting from zero. Okay. And of course, save and invest wisely. Now, in the process of making more money, you know, a lot of people get into the phase of, you know, spending more than they make, or they're spending a lot because they believe that they're making so much money, and then they call it life inflation, right? Or spending inflation, something like that. You want to be very careful about that. And generally that happens because things are just getting more expensive in general. Housing is getting more expensive, cars are getting more expensive. But you have to be very careful and very intentional about how you're spending, so that you don't have that lifestyle creep. That's another way that's another thing that is called lifestyle creep. So that you don't have that hitting up all the money that you can actually use towards investing or saving for retirement and things like that. Now, one area that I think I wanted to add here is insurance. It's important to have some coverage, whether it's health insurance, car insurance, home insurance, things like that. Those things, even those insurance, honestly, I feel like they're a big scam. But to be honest, I also know that they are very useful, because when things doesn't go as planned, when things don't go as planned and you get into an accident or something, at least you have some coverage. You don't have to go use all your money to bail yourself out. Now, the last but not least is that consistency in all of this, right? Consistency in investing regularly, make it automated, right? Let it be an automated process, so that you are not really involved in it. The more automated it is, the higher your chances of actually succeeding. And I hope that you succeed in your financial plans and get to achieve your goals. I'll see you in the next one.